Okay, so are you ready to like really dive deep into this?
I am. Let's do it.
Today we're tackling a story that has, fascinated people for centuries.
Yeah.
We're talking about Surah Al-Fil, which is from the Quran.
Right.
And it translates to like the chapter of the elephant.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this surah, what it does is it tells this amazing story of the people of the elephant.
Right.
This army that marched on Mecca, to destroy the Kaaba.
Yeah, they had a pretty clear goal in mind, right?
Yeah, and we're going to like get into their ultimate demise. What happened to them?
Well, and it's interesting, just the way the surah starts, like it doesn't waste any time. It goes straight to the point.
Yeah.
It grabs you right from the get-go.
Yeah.
Have you not considered how your Lord dealt with the people of the elephant? Did he not make their plan go wrong?
It's like, whoa.
Right.
It's like a challenge. It's like, stop.
It is.
Think about this. Like, what are you seeing here?
Yeah, what happened here? What does this mean?
And why should you care? It's a direct question, right?
It is, yeah.
Posed to the reader, like urging you to think deeply about this historical event.
Absolutely.
What's going on? Who are the forces at play?
It really is an invitation, I think, to look beyond just the surface level of the story and think about those bigger questions,
Totally.
Yeah, the deeper meaning behind it.
Yeah, it's not just recounting history.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like it's looking for understanding. It's about power.
It is.
It's about how things work in this world.
It's about, God's power and the role of the divine, in human affairs.
Okay, so then a few verses in, like the imagery just explodes.
Oh, yeah.
He sent against them swarms of birds, throwing at them rocks of baked clay. I mean, come on.
It's incredible imagery, right?
This is not just a historical account.
It goes beyond just the facts, doesn't it?
This is like, you're watching a movie. This is cinematic. How should we understand this event historically and symbolically?
Well, and that's what makes this passage so fascinating, right?
Yeah.
Because you have some scholars who take a very literal approach. They'll say, no, this was a literal event. Flocks of birds descended upon this army and pelted them with stones. And there's some historical basis for that kind of thing happening, bird migrations, maybe, carrying small stones.
Yeah.
But then you have other scholars who look at it and say, wait a minute, there's something more here, something deeper. They see it more metaphorically. They see those birds and the rocks of baked clay as symbols.
I see.
Representing these divine forces, right?
Yeah.
Overwhelming these attackers. And it really highlights the difference, the contrast between human power and, the power of God.
So like, it's almost like no matter how you interpret it,
Right.
The imagery is still there.
Exactly. The impact, the feeling you get from that imagery, it transcends the literal interpretation.
You can't escape it. And then boom,
Yeah.
get to the last verse,
Sure.
and it just hits you. Leaving them like chewed up leaves. Wow, that's powerful.
It's a very striking image, isn't it?
That's simile.
Right.
It's so evocative.
Just showing the complete destruction, the defeat.
When I read that, what strikes me is how it speaks to the fragility of human ambition, especially when it's driven by ego and that kind of, desire for power.
Yeah.
You can have all the military might in the world, but when you go up against something like, the will of God,
Right.
they can all crumble away, just like those leaves.
Like it emphasizes just how
Fleeting it can be.
pointless it can be.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so this really kind of underscores the importance of Surah Al-Fil within the Quran. It's not just a story.
No, it's much more than that.
Right.
It's a reminder. It's a statement about faith and the consequences of those kinds of actions.
What is it saying?
Well, it's saying, first and foremost, that Mecca is under God's protection.
Right.
It's a holy site, and any attempt to attack it will be met with divine intervention.
And that's central to like the whole idea of Islam, right? Absolutely. But it also speaks to this broader theme that we see throughout the Quran.
Okay.
Divine intervention and the consequences of aggression, especially aggression that is fueled by arrogance and, a lack of respect for what is sacred.
This kind of makes me think about what we're seeing happening in the world today, right? I mean, all the conflicts. Are there any parallels? Is there anything that we can take away from this story about the limits of power, even in like our modern world?
Well, it certainly makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Here's this ancient story, and yet it seems so relevant, right?
It does.
It's telling us something timeless about the nature of power,
Yeah.
about faith, about the consequences of our actions.
But offering some guidance maybe for how we can, navigate the complexities of our own world.
Yeah. Potentially.
So what do you say we leave our listeners to ponder that today? Think about what this story means to you and how it might apply to the world we live in.
Sounds good to me. Let them chew on that for a while, so to speak.
All right. We'll see y'all next time.
See you later.